Hi everyone, Dan back here from the Geek Physique and with my awesome client Matt. He's just finished his first 8 weeks with us, and we're going to go through his journey basically over the last 8 weeks. It's probably been a bit more than 8 weeks because we had Christmas, things like that. But first of all, Matt, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Good, 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 good. And why don't you just well, first of all, I want to say thank you for your hard work over the last 8 weeks. For the audience at home, why don't you just break down where were you at before you started this process?
Um, so for years I had tried on and off doing different workout things because I've got a nerve condition which basically causes my nerves to overreact to stuff when I do too much, and I'd spent a lot of time on and off different medications to try and deal with that. Uh, and exercising had frequently caused a lot of pain, flare-ups and things like that, which repeatedly knocked me back from trying to continue because
Yep.
I very much got into the habit of, okay, that hurt, not doing that again. Um, because if I did an intense workout, it would wipe me out for a week or more with migraines and various other horrible things. So it was, yeah, I'd had a very bad relationship with exercise. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, yeah. And because you were in good shape before, and then did you go through that period like after that and kind of you just hitting your head against a brick wall a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, the period where I was in good, when I was a teenager, I did a lot of gymnastics and things like that, and then I had a
Okay.
motorbike accident which triggered everything.
Wow. Okay.
When I was 23, I did like 3 months of intense exercise previously for my best mate who was trying to do like a PT thing, and he
Okay.
needed a guinea pig, so I volunteered. It involved a lot of coding to get through it, but ultimately I ended up with some pretty good results, which you've seen from the old pictures. And but that was 10 years ago. I was 23 then. I'm soon to turn 34. So it's it's been a long time that I've been like, I really wish I could get back to that. I miss with the shape I was in, and I'd really got out of it, and had a couple of rough years with the nerves.
Sure.
So, like I say, I'd just kind of given up on it and thought wasn't I wasn't ever going to get back to that. But that opinion has definitely changed. So,
Amazing. Amazing. And just for we're going to get into this later, but Matt is blessed with, besides the nerve thing, right? It's kind of, I guess it's like the universe balancing things out in a really messed up way. He's got good genetics and he responds well to training. But so we'll come into his wins a bit later on. And was there anything you tried uh in between that period, Matt? Because you did mention something you mentioned that was interesting was like you do a session, you do a workout, and it would just knock you back. Why do you think that is? Do you think they were maybe too intense? You were focusing too much on one muscle group? Why do you think that was?
I certainly didn't have any real sense for pacing myself, and also a lot of things you see online when you're trying to find workouts and you're trying to find how to get into things.
Yeah,
Everything's like really, go intense, go hard, go heavy, push yourself, and that doesn't work for everyone. And I am definitely one of these people who I just go in 110%, and then afterwards it hits me back 310% because of my nerves, and that had a lot to do with it.
sure.
Um, and eventually it got to the point where my body's immediate reaction was to cause a load of pain,
Hmm.
and I started to listen to it and go, okay, yep, you're right, let's not do that again. Um, but I think from our conversation before I started, I'd hit a point where I thought, you know what, no, I'm going to make the decisions and go from there.
Good, good, good. So you took like complete ownership, I would say, of it. Um,
Yeah,
and what do you think was helpful for you this time around to find like the right balance?
there was a lot more structure to it, and interestingly, the the workouts themselves, there was no predefined weight, so you could start with whatever you were comfortable with. And I think that definitely helped because I could look at it and go, okay, so I'm supposed to do this many sets of this many reps on this. So the very first set you do, if you struggle with it, you immediately adjust to think, okay, I maybe a bit less or maybe a bit more. And you you look at the structure, but you apply your own ability level to it.
Yep.
And I found it easier um, to sort of fill in the blanks rather than just go on a do this much, lift this much. And obviously, depending on who sets that up and what kind of blinkered view they've got that people are capable of, doesn't work for everyone.
For sure, for sure. No, and that's a really good point you raise. Because what we do is like first, second week, it's kind of like a testing week, right? Is what you're saying.
Mm.
That's why I always say to the other guys as well as Matt is it's just a feeling out process when you start a plan. And you want to some movements, a target rep range can work really well, and that's what we do. But you just want to find the right weight, it feels okay, target rep range, and you can push. But you don't always have to go to complete failure, and that's something else you touched on just there. Something I hear from a lot of guys, Matt, is I think I have to push myself to the absolute limit all of the time, and actually, if you stop just a few reps shy of failure, it's still very effective, and you can build on it each week, right?
I'd always push myself on the last set, but
Mm-hmm.
pushing yourself on the first set always ends badly
Okay.
because then you've got two more to do. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you burn yourself out in the first set, you're not going to get that much out of it. But if, like, for instance, if I know I can do, I don't know, for example, 10 reps on something, first set I might do eight, second I might do 10, and then the third set I'll go until I'll say I'll go until I can't, but not to the point that I feel like I'm going to do myself any harm.
Sure.
Like, you do get to a point quite quickly where you get used to what your limits are and you get used to your body going, hang on a minute.
For sure.
It's a bit of a tug of war because you want to push yourself enough that you gain the benefits, but you
Yes,
don't want to do yourself any mischief.
for sure. And did you try, I suppose, besides the training kind of stuff that you tried before, was there anything like food wise that you tried that didn't work for you, or anything else that you tried in general?
Um, so the only thing I really changed with my food was I just, when there was a sale on my protein, I just bought the shop. Um, and all my snacks and cravings and anything like that, I just had protein stuff instead.
Good.
And because when I started tracking what I was eating in the first week before I got all that stuff,
Yes.
I realized that despite the fact that I was convinced I ate really healthy because I had lots of home cooked food, it was all made
Yes.
fresh, it was just carb-mageddon. Like there was nothing in there. Like, it was no wonder I ached like hell after a workout because there was nothing to repair anything.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and I have found that just by making sure I hit the protein target, which was obviously one of your main things early on, that really helped. And that is the only thing I changed with my diet.
Amazing. No, it's amazing. And it's not uncommon to hear that. Marcin, who's also guys at home, you can see his review as well on our wherever you're watching this on. If you scroll through the feed, he said a very similar thing that for when he changed his food, the switch to more protein really made a big difference for him. So no, it's really helpful, man. And you've already touched on this a little bit. We talked about the training and the food. Was there any other big breakthroughs for you, or anything else that you found particularly helpful during this experience?
Um, Definitely the feedback and the accountability element. it's so easy to go, not tonight. But then, like with all the posts, like, have you hit your things this week? Have you done this week? And you just think, oh, okay, I really should do this. Um, and that definitely helped because someone's going to check up on you. You know that you should be doing it. And even, like after the very first workout I did, I remember sending you a message going, I really ache. Like I'm in a lot of pain because of my nerves and everything. I really don't think one day in between a workout is going to be enough. And I'm really worried about doing another one tomorrow. And I remember you saying pretty much something along the lines of, obviously, you know your nerve condition better, but try and sort of push through it. And it made me think about the fact that my body just got used to this routine of if it did something, I'd stop
Yeah,
and always go. And your body wants to take the path of least resistance. It always does.
for
So,
sure.
despite the fact I felt like I'd been hit by a train, I did another workout. And ironically, the day after that, I felt much better. And it was like an epiphany moment of then I had one more day and then I did another workout. And then that was it. I'd done 3 workouts in a week, which even a month before I wouldn't have thought I'd been able to do without like trying to pick myself up off the floor. So, and it felt really good. So, yeah, I kind of got over that thing just by having the nudge and the support to say, just give it a go. Don't wreck yourself, but anything you do is better than nothing.
For sure.
And I ended up really pushing myself that workout and I didn't suffer for it. Like at no point after any of my workouts have I really, really hurt the next day,
Hmm.
even with my nerves, because I've been making sure I've got enough protein in my system to repair it. And it seems to have changed, bizarre as it sounds, it seems to have changed my relationship with my nerve pain because although it's there, it doesn't flare up in quite the same way it used to.
Hmm.
It's like it knows it's coming now, and it's almost like it just steps aside and says, "Okay, we're doing this, and it's going to happen." So it doesn't fight me anymore.
It's good, and a lot of this stuff is always mind over matter. Like
Mm.
when we've worked with other people, like Travis, who again can see his review as well. He had really bad knee pain before before starting, and it was a mental battle as well. It was like overcoming that okay, I can do squats and I'm not, as long as I'm working within a range. You touched on it just then. It's not about pushing yourself over that limit. It's finding your limit and then like working in a range,
Yeah.
and then the limit goes up and then you increase that range. And that's just what you want to do in edge forward and edge forward. So no, you've definitely smashed it, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the coaching? You touched on kind of everything, the food, the training, and the support. Anything else you'd like to add, man, before we go through your wins?
Um, I mean, overall, the whole thing's been, I mean, a success. Like you can tell by the measurements and stuff that the changes have definitely happened. Um, and it was nice as well because if I said like, for whatever reason, like I have an injury, I can't do this, can I do that? And you just swap out the exercises for more practical things. Instead of it takes all the guesswork out of it and it allows you to just keep moving without any stress. Like you can, for me, the reason I worked out so well 10 years ago with my best mate was because I just went in, he told me what to do, and I did it.
Yeah.
I could just switch off, do the workout, zone out. And the good thing with the app, especially with having the little videos that show you how to do each exercise, is I could just go into a room, switch off, focus on what I need to do, and get on with it. And it got to the point where if I didn't do a workout, I started to crave doing the workout because I felt like I should be doing the workout. So not because I felt bad for not doing it, because I actually wanted to do it.
Yes.
And that is the thing that surprised me the most.
Amazing. And just on that point, I want to ask you something, and I want to make sure I phrase this correctly. Often people wait to feel motivated to do something. Would you agree that doing the thing, even when you don't feel like it, actually builds the motivation to want to do it more? So it's kind of like
100%.
you actually have to push yourself to do it, and then the motivation.
Motivation,
Yeah.
ironically, the post that I liked that started our conversation in the very, very beginning was the one you posted saying motivation doesn't come first, results come first. That gives you motivation.
Yes.
And that was the post that I liked that you then messaged me. And I was like, he's right. And it is very, very true. As soon as I started to get the results, it's addictive. It's very, I mean, I'm not from a vain perspective because I'm like, that's not, I've been doing this for my health reasons.
Yes.
Because if I support my core and I support my core strength, my main sort of debilitating injury with the nerves is much lessened. It's made me far more resilient. Like I've been lifting stuff around at work, shifting things, and everyone's like, you really shouldn't be doing that. And it's like, I can do it because it has made me that much stronger, that much more resilient, and that much more confident as a result.
Amazing.
So it's 100%. You put the work in, that gives you results, that gives you motivation. Motivation does not come first. If you wait for motivation, you'll be a couch potato like I was.
And okay, on that note, I think this is a really good segue to uh, the results that Matt has got. So just bear with me, guys. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to zoom in actually a little bit on these because I want to make sure we can actually see them.
Yeah, don't want to look too close.
So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen okay, man?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
you got
guys. So
most of
you
it up.
let me zoom a bit more. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a good amount. So you can see, guys, that one thing I want to start on is actually Matt's weight. So Matt's weight has hovered between the around the same. I mean, it's actually gone up slightly, which is interesting from when he first started, but
Mm.
it's really hovered around the 80 mark, just between 80, 83, right? And for the last 4 weeks, it's about 82, 83. And I remember, I think part of your goals, and we're going to come to where Matt's going to go next after we do his review. Part of your goals, correct me if I'm wrong, was actually to lose a bit of fat and build a bit of muscle, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you
to
first started
sort of
out.
balance it. I rather than, although I kind of wanted to slim down, I was aware that also if I bulked up my shoulders and my chest, it would have the same kind of aesthetic effect in the fact that it would adjust the ratio. Um, I did want to lose stuff around my waist and everything, and although, in to be fair, I have noticed that I've slimmed down on my stomach, but my shoulders have just gone nuts.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, and we're going to come on to this. So on that point, guys watching this at home, so you can see Matt's weight has actually stayed relatively the same for the last 4 weeks, but it's increased slightly from when he first started. But when we moved to his measurements, his waist has stayed the same. Okay, now keep that in your mind. Every other metric, okay, every other measurable metric that we do for measuring our muscle size, chest 2 inches up, left arm over an inch up, right arm an inch, thighs as well. You know, you're looking at about 1 to 2 inches there on each thigh, and the shoulders is just ridiculous. Like, and you can really see that, which will come to the pictures in a sec. But how are you feeling about the measurement changes, bro?
Pretty good. And I mean, like I said, the picture I sent you the other day, like that's all completely relaxed as well. So the fact that the changes are like that with it relaxed is just ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
to to get it that quick, and like I say, that has been hugely motivating to actually see the differences. And again, that's another great thing with how this works is because you've got a visible timeline of the changes. When things happen slowly, you kind of look at stuff and you think, well, has it changed? And then you look back and you go, okay, it's definitely changed.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. And you literally nailed it just then. It's I always some people they resist sometimes taking pictures because when you're at the start, you're not maybe not loving the way that you look a lot of
Mm.
times. And I always say to people, imagine you haven't seen a friend in a while and you're getting to decent shape. They're gonna be like, what have you been doing, man? Like major glow up, like what's happened to you? And you're robbing yourself of that change because you will not notice the incremental differences every day in the mirror. But when you've got side by side comparison, you just can't deny it, you know, and
Yeah.
it's comparing yourself against who you were yesterday, right? Not someone else today. That's really important.
Mm.
Okay. And I'm gonna go to the picture changes, right? Because I want to show the Death Star delts that Matt has grown over this time. So you can see the first picture, beginning of Feb, and then 2 months later, you know, just after the beginning of first picture beginning
Beginning
of
of December.
December 2022, and then about just over 2 months later, beginning of Feb, and you can see noticeable because you already had a good frame. You already had a good
Mm.
frame to build from, but you can see just all over just more mass. And I keep asking Matt if he's, you know, like, what are you doing anything else that you want to tell me about? Anything shady on
No,
the side?
no. I mean, like I said before, my best mate, he used to be a competition powerlifter, and he's I've known him 26 years, and he has always said if he didn't know me, he would swear blind I was on steroids.
Yeah.
Because, and I think it's because my injury that triggered my nerve condition is in my neck. I think my body automatically stacks muscle around my neck and my shoulders to protect.
I mean,
Um,
it's like it is. I said it to you on the messenger the other day. It's just like a superhero story where you go through a really bad like accident and then you just become an absolute beast as a result of it. But mate, it's so good. And another small interesting thing, Matt touched on this just before. You can see a little bit of tape on his foot, and he accidentally broke his foot, right? But what I want to highlight to all of you at home is do not use injury or unless it's like debilitating, unless you're bedridden, you need to rest. Rest is the most important thing. Health is the most important thing. But if you've got an injury on your body that's restricting your movement in some way, do not use it as an excuse to just give up. And you didn't, bro. You came to me and you said, Dan, I can't do X, Y, and Z. And what did we do, bro?
we just changed the exercises, like putting suitcase squats so that I could still do certain things while keeping my foot flat because flexing it was causing a lot of pain. And changed up I changed up the push-ups because I couldn't put the weight on my toes, so I put my feet flat on the sofa bed that I've got in the room that I work out in and did the push-ups with my feet elevated. Failing that, I could probably use my knees instead. But like I said, I got on with it.
You did. No, you got on with it, man. And it just shows a determination, right? So I want to thank you
But
for the hard work.
I knew how quickly and how easily you can slip back into not doing it or making excuses. The fact that even with my nerves, it had almost trained me to feel a certain way and then not do it. And it's much the same with motivation. If you give up, if you don't do it one time, you won't do it another time. So and again, I think you did another post on that. If you, there's certain things you do, whether you feel like it or not, because it's important. And I very much started to adopt that mentality with workouts. No matter what, no matter how tired I was, no matter like one workout I did at like 11 at night
Yeah, that was a
after.
madness that day.
I mean, I really felt that. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the most productive workout, but I did it, and I'm glad that I did it because even other times when I've worked late, I've come back and I've done a workout at 9, or I've come back, done a workout, and then gone to work, like my second job. So you make the time if it's important. You treat it as a non-negotiable, and that's how you progress. If you think, oh well, it's not convenient today, it's like you eat whether it's convenient or not. You go to work whether it's convenient or
Yes,
not. So you should, look after your health in the same way.
for sure. And yeah, I couldn't have put it any better myself. And just for the audience at home, man, to give them an idea, because people sometimes hear that and they can sometimes feel that they get their back up against the wall. And I can understand when and you'll find out in a second, guys, how busy Matt really is. And one characteristic, I say this in nearly every review that we do. There's one characteristic that all the guys have in common in our community, myself included, all of us, we are crazy busy. We've got mad commitments, work commitments, family commitments, you name it. So why don't you just give it a bit of background? Like even on that, you have two jobs, right, Matt?
Yeah. So 42 and a half hours a week. I work for one job, um, sort of general 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. And then I've got a second job where the hours can vary, but my contract, I average 10 hours a week with that job. And there are some times where I will do 65, 70-hour weeks for that job because I'll be working like 24 hours over the weekend, as well as a couple of evenings during the week before. So I'll work that week, including some evenings, do the whole weekend straight back into another week on Monday. And even one week where I did that, that was the hardest time to stick to the workout. But the fact that I did it, even though it was hard, and they may not, in all fairness, actually, they were still really productive workouts.
Yeah.
Um, one of them more so, in fact. And I think it's because I was mentally tired. I just didn't think, I just did it. And it was actually quite therapeutic. But yeah, and once I did that, I was like, Christ, if I did it during that fortnight period, I can do it anytime.
Yes.
You
Yes.
make the time.
It's such a good, that's something, guys, that's what you get by committing. You know, you're that guy. Like you build a confidence. It's not like just confidence in yourself, like visually or how you feel about yourself. It's like, I know I keep my word, and keeping your word to yourself is so important. So no, you nailed it, man. And the last thing there's just two more things I wanted to touch on. The second to last one was you only were doing 3 full body workouts a week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if for whatever reason I couldn't do one of those days, it allowed me to knock it back a day and still keep the spacing. So I could do Monday, Thursday, Saturday. And like this week, for example, busy on the Wednesday, busy on the Friday. So I've done Monday, Tuesday, and I'm doing tonight.
Got you. And
So, but it's, yeah, basically around about 3 hours a week.
that's it. That's it, man. And I just wanted to ask you, is there any more any last remarks you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to say, bro?
Um, I suppose more it's just giving me my confidence back. Um, and I think people have remarked on it at work and sort of in my social life as well that I've got more energy. I'm generally more confident and a bit more assertive with certain things because I now know what I'm capable of. I know I can do things. And I know in one of your things you joked about like you change one thing, you get your health and whatnot in place, and then you go out and you get the promotion. ironically, I did apply for a different job role where I am, and my probation for it ends on Monday. So
Amazing.
it's
Amazing.
quite fitting that it's all kind of rolled in. Um, and I have shocked the hell out of them at work because it's a different role within the same company. And they're like, okay, when did you start? Because I've been there like 4 years,
Sure.
but in the last couple of months, they've seen a totally different side to me, and it has definitely hinged a lot around the fact that I'm looking after myself a lot more, and I'm a lot more confident in what I'm now capable of, and the benefits it's had to not just my health but my mental health and well-being as well.
Amazing. Amazing, man. I want to, like I said, say just a big thank you for your hard work. You're a good example for myself, for the rest of the guys in the group, and it's been an absolute pleasure, man. So thank you.
Thank you.